What's up guys, Elfis here, and today we're going to be doing the first episode, I guess, of our patch notes discussion. And basically what this series, or, videos, these videos are going to cover, is I'm going to go over the patches when they have them, and I'm going to go over the notes, and I'm going to basically say how they affect the game, really. So it's more so going to be like the stat changes and spell changes and things of that nature, because obviously alt avatar additions won't change anything. So they have all these alt avatars and new colors and blah blah blah. We're going to go ahead and skip right past that because that doesn't matter to us. So we're going to stop at the general right here, Legion Ancients. So they've changed how they leash to make them easier to stack. I haven't tested this yet, but I would imagine if they changed them, that means that the Hellborn was easier to stack than the Legions. So that's good if they're just balancing it to make them equal, which is fine. I see no problem with that. All tablets have been renamed to the following: double damage, invisibility, illusion, haste, regeneration, and power. I have no idea what power is. I actually checked this before the video. I went into a game and I tried to spawn runes over and over and over and over and over again to see if I could find what a power rune is. I'm assuming this is a typo, because that's all the runes covered right here. Illusion, invisibility, double damage, haste, and regeneration. So I'm guessing this was somebody as a typo for a double damage rune rename. I'm not sure, because I don't know what a power rune is. If somebody knows, I'd actually like to know if somebody could tell me, so that would be great. They added account icons, doesn't matter. So now we're going to get to the hero balance. There's only a little bit of hero balance, and the first one, Trample, the mana cost reduced from 125 to 115 for Cthulhuphant. Now the reason they did this is because they're trying to make Cthulhuphant a more used hero. They're trying to make it a hero that works more in this game, more in the meta, without making him overpowered. So obviously they can't, reduce it to 10 mana and, a 2-second cooldown or whatever, because that would be overpowered. But they want to make the hero more usable. So they're trying to make him better, and they did this quite a bit with Engineer before they just full out redid Engineer. Engineer used to be an entirely different hero. Well, not entirely different. I think he still had the keg and the little gun. I don't know what that's called. I believe that was changed. I think. Oh no, you know what? They might have had that. No, they didn't have that. They had some other skills, but I guess that doesn't matter. I don't need to go into it. If you're curious, let me know and I'll let you know. But so they're trying to make him more accessible and more usable into a better hero, essentially, because, to be honest, he's not really that great. As a jungler, he's okay. There are better junglers, even. And as a tank, there are better tanks, and, as a ganker, there are better gankers. He kind of doesn't really fill a niche that was needed. And a niche, for those of you who don't know, is like, basically like a pocket that needs to be, that is empty, essentially, or not necessarily empty, but that something belongs in. So, for example, the carry niche is filled by Madman, the Dark Lady, Magebane, Silhouette. You know what I mean? They have their own niche as a hard carry. So I'll probably use that word a bit in this series. So keep that in mind. Plague Rider, Plague Carrier, mana cost rescaled from 200, 325, 500 to 200, 350, 500. So Plague Carrier, I believe that's his ultimate. I don't know the names of it, but just based on the mana cost, I'm assuming that's what that is, because none of his other skills cost that much. So Plague Carrier, so his ultimate. So all they did was slightly make it more expensive at the second level. That's fine. It's not that big of a change. It's not going to by any means make Plague Rider, any type of useless hero. Actually, Plague Rider is a phenomenal hero. I love having a Plague Rider on the team. He is one of the best supports that I think there is, because he doesn't have any stuns, which is unfortunate. So I don't like playing him as a hard support. I like playing him as like a suicide lane, for example, or you can play him as some type of semi-support, and just get him a level 6 reasonably soon, and then he's so helpful in team fights. With the armor, the contagion, the denying is amazing in lane, and on top of that, it gives him mana to help harass more. And then his ultimate, if you can get a good Plague Rider ultimate, you can literally demolish a team. So I love this hero. This doesn't change much for the hero. Obviously, it makes it slightly more expensive, but by no means is that ridiculous. Disco Inferno, healing and damage to creeps increased from 50% to 75%. So they're doing a similar thing with Rhapsody that they're doing with Cthulhuphant. They're trying to make her a little bit more accessible and better without making her overpowered. This is actually a good change, because now not only That's actually a very significant change, 50% to 75%. That actually makes her much better at pushing. It only affects creeps, so don't worry, it's not going to be like overpowered against heroes now, but or overpowered, with heroes as in the healing. But it will make it much easier to push, and that's a big thing actually. And it's already easy to get that to use that to push because of the fact that creeps obviously don't move when they're attacking each other, with the exception of the 1 or 2 steps to get to the next creep or something like that. But so that's actually a good change. It actually I don't like Rhapsody all that much. I think she's kind of a weak support hero, which is good. I think that they're buffing. I like the buffing. I like that they are buffing her a little bit. It's still not enough, I don't think, to make her a good support hero. I think they're better. Demented Shaman, I love them. I actually like Demented Shaman better if you can get some levels, though, as opposed to being like a hard support who's, like a ward bitch or something. And I apologize for the language if people don't like swearing, but, that's what happens on this channel. So, so she's still not a bad support hero. There are worse. But I really like that, actually. I like that they're giving her a little bit more pushing power on top of that. So now she'll actually work into push strategies better, too. So Voodoo, that obviously refers to Voodoo Jester, by the way. Starting intelligence increased by 2. Acid Cocktail now stuns and damages pets, with the exception of Boo Boo and Boris. Cursed Ground, mana cost reduced from 120, and it's no longer a static 120. Okay, so it goes up by 10 every one of the 4 levels. Okay, so actually, I'm not so sure this was necessary. I think Voodoo Jester, once he hits level 6, is actually a very strong hero to begin with. Now, the initial intelligence increase, I don't necessarily disagree with. I'm sure they've thought about that a bit, and they probably thought more about it than I'm thinking about it right now. I think that's fine. And the Acid Cocktail change is also fine, actually. But what I do disagree with is the Cursed Ground, because that's already such a powerful skill. It really is. I think making it basically, they're essentially reducing the cost. I mean, obviously at level 4 it's still the same, but in the early game they're making it easier to use, and I think that may be a slight mistake, because I'm sure they've thought about this much more than I have, so maybe they're right, but I will think that this will make this hero even stronger early game, which it should, but the hero is already fairly strong. I think Voodoo Jester is a great hero and can deal enormous damage once he gets level 6 with his ultimate Cursed Ground combination. It's phenomenal, actually. So I think maybe this was a slight mistake, but it won't make a huge change. It'll just make it's not going to make him like overpowered by any means. It's just going to make him a little bit stronger early game, because he'll have more opportunity to use the skill, since he'll need less mana for it. Now, the Acid Cocktail change, the Acid Cocktail, I'm actually going to check on this because I'm not 100% sure, but it actually does a significant amount of damage to creeps. I don't know the exact numbers. Here he is. Acid Cocktail, let's see, where is it? Target an enemy, blah, 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 blah. Creeps stun for 5 seconds and take 150 magic damage. So it stuns them significantly and causes incredible amounts of damage. Like that, for the amount of time that it'll bounce, 8 bounces at level 4, that's a lot of damage if you were to hit continuous creeps, So what I do want to mention, though, is that they left Boo Boo and Boris out. Boo Boo, which is absolutely great that they left that out, because otherwise that would be incredibly ridiculous against Wild Soul. Because the bear actually is pretty much all of Wild Soul. It makes him so much better. And Boris, similar to Tremble, he's a very key part of that hero. But what I do want to mention is that actually they didn't leave out Malphus, which is Hellbringer's ultimate. Now, I'm not sure if they just didn't type it in here and that Malphus is actually also excluded from that, or if Malphus isn't excluded from this and Malphus will take damage, because if so, I think that's slightly unfair against Hellbringer, because that's a lot of damage on his ultimate. It makes his ultimate almost not useless by any means, but it will hurt his ultimate significantly in fights, and I think that's not necessarily fair to make Voodoo Jester such a strong counter to Hellbringer. So I'm not sure if this applies to Hellbringer's ultimate or not. I'm sure S2 knows, and they would, if somebody asked them, they would be more than willing to answer that on the forums. I may actually ask myself, just out of curiosity. I don't actually play Hellbringer all that often, but that could be a key part of it. If he's now a hard counter to Hellbringer like that, that could be a big portion of a very big change to the game. So that actually may be significant, but I don't think it. I think Hellbringer's Ultimate is probably excluded from this too. I think it's meant to be, but I'm not 100% sure. Because pets usually refers to more like, it usually refers to like puzzle box minions, or I mean, I don't know. Those are the only ones that are coming to mind. Obviously, I think there are other pets in the game, you know, like like Warbeast dogs. I think they would apply to that too. I don't think it's meant to apply to like literally change games, like really big impact like that. I think it's just meant to hurt like little minions that people can summon. But I could be wrong, so maybe I'll ask on that. So item balance changes. Runes of Blight just renamed to Blightstone. Okay, it's nobody. I don't know why they did that. It's kind of a waste of time. Everybody knows them. I mean, the runes change for the name. That kind of makes sense, but because everybody calls them runes anyways. But so Nullfire, that refers to the Nullfire Blade. Illusions that have Nullfire now remove 6.67/12 mana. So I'm not sure where they came up with this number of 6.67. I would imagine that it looks like 2/3 of something, you know, 6.67. 6.67 is 2/3 of something. I'm not sure why they chose that, but that's not really a big change. Nullfire Blade's kind of, I'm not sure if that's actually a buff or a nerf. I don't remember what it did before. I don't remember the amount of mana that it lost before, so I'm not sure. But that's not a huge change. Thunderclaw no longer randomly procs, now shoots lightning every 5 attacks. So that is actually, I think, an improvement. I think it makes the item better. I don't think, now it's no longer up to luck, now it's just on attack speed, which is actually a very good change, because that item, as I've mentioned in the past, I don't think is a very strong item. I think it's a pretty weak item, actually. And for the cost, it's a very expensive item. If they were to reduce the cost, I think it would be a similar buff, and I would be pretty happy as well. But no, it no longer randomly procs. So now every 5 attacks, if you can get your attack speed up fast enough, it's shooting quite frequently. What I do think, though, is that it makes it slightly less useful on heroes like Draconis now, as instead of being a hero dependent item, now it's an item that you build if you have incredible amounts of attack speed already. Which I still don't think it will be built all that often. I could be wrong. I'd have to look into it, but I don't think I don't think it's now a great item or anything. I just think it's a good buff. Charged Hammer, damage increase. They added 6 damage to it, and then the same proc for the Thunderclaw. So the 6 damage, they're trying to make this item better, because pretty much it's a pretty unanimously agreed upon ideology that this item isn't very good. It's not very good for how expensive it is. It's 5,400, which is incredibly expensive. It's one of the most expensive combat items in the game, actually, or rather, just one of the most expensive items in the game. And it's not really all that good for its price. So they're trying to make it a little better. I think that's not enough. I think if they were to make it every 3 attacks, maybe that would make it into a good item. That actually sounds pretty decent to me, every 3 attacks. I think I would probably buy it on a couple heroes if it was every 3 attacks. I think I may even... I don't think I'm going to stop buying it on Draconis now, but I may have to rethink it on Draconis, because that is kind of a significant change for him. But you never know. I'll have to think about it. But other than that, no significant changes. I still don't think the item's amazing, but good job buffing it, because it is a weak item. So let's move on to the bug fixes. Optimize Ashes to Ashes so that the state on himself will expire when charges are 0. So I'm assuming that it had some kind of delay on it and didn't expire when it was 0, and it lasted a little bit longer. I'm not sure. Ignite is now disabled if it has already been activated. I'm not sure. I don't play Ra enough. I don't know what that means. Ra, where are we? Ra is right here. Ignite. Nearby enemies receive blah 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 blah. Oh, so that's his little exploding thing. Okay. Ignite is now disabled if it has already been activated. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, could you like use it again real quick or something? Was there some bug in there that you could like spam it a couple times if it had been activated, but it wouldn't go on cooldown or something? I don't know. That's kind of odd. Fixed Carnage on all of his alt avatars. Okay, so that just sounds like something with Berserker. I don't play Berserker, so I don't know. That doesn't really look like a change though. Fixed Executioner Legionnaires move animation from hitching. I actually have Executioner Legionnaires. move animation, and that was actually a problem when I used to play Legionnaire so much more frequently. That was actually a little bit of a problem. It did kind of a little bit bug out a little bit there. Lodestone, rocket drill is now disabled if it had already been activated. Okay, I don't play that hero, so I'm not sure. So these are just, it looks like they're fixing some of the animations really, and a little bit of the bugs with the skills. They aren't really game bugs. That Protective Melody is now 100% physical and magic damage reduction instead of 1,000. Okay, so that's actually, that doesn't sound like a bug fix. That actually sounds like a change. They should probably, I mean, I think that's what they meant for it to do anyways. That is Rhapsody's ultimate. It used to add just 1,000 armor and magic armor, which actually doesn't make you invincible. You can still hurt somebody with that much armor and magic armor. It's just when you hurt somebody, you do so little damage, like less than 1 damage, like tiny, tiny, tiny amounts of damage, that, you know, it's essentially negligible. But in reality, it's not. If they had 1 health left and you did that, they could die potentially. But, you know, now they've changed it, so now you're 100% immune from all damage. It actually says physical and magical damage. I'm not sure if superior damage would go through that. I imagine it would, because it seems like they would have just said 100% immune or fully immune or something like that. So I would imagine superior damage would still go through this. So that's kind of nice to know. Other than that, these don't seem, I'm actually just going over a quick, yeah, these kind of seem like, yeah, they're not like huge changes. So other than that, guys, the changes aren't that big. I think the charged hammer change is quite significant. Still not enough, though. And I think this acid cocktail change could be significant if it affects Malphus. But, you know, I'm not sure. S2 would have to let me know, or I could check in-game and just, you know, figure it out. But either way, though, guys, thank you for watching. I hope this helped people. I hope you guys... I mean, this isn't really a series to help new players. This is kind of a series for just for telling you how the game's changing as it progresses, you know. Mostly because I like to know how the game changes, and so I figure, you know, maybe you guys do too. And actually, on occasion, they do make significant changes, such as the, you know, well, actually, I kind of already went over it, so never mind. But I was going to say the acid cocktail is a pretty significant change in the charged hammer, and they've made changes in the past that were fairly significant. So, you know, I'll keep you guys updated every so often when they make a patch notes. So this has been Patch Notes Discussion. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Other than that, though, that's all I wanted to cover. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. You guys know where the buttons are. Hit those if you wanna. I try to put out 3 to 5 videos a week, or more than that on occasion, but it's usually never less than that. So unless I'm really busy, but then I'll you know, make an announcement and say that I'm really busy. But so other than that, though, like and subscribe if you want, or dislike if you want. But please tell me why you disliked it. I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much. And other than that, though, guys, I will talk to you guys later. GG, well played, guys. Elfis out.